I watched his face fall when I pulled out the folder. The smug smile that had been there seconds ago vanished as I laid out the evidence one by one on the counter between us. You wanted my bakery for cheap? Let me show you exactly why that's not happening today, or ever. 6 months earlier, I was putting the final touches on my dream. After years of saving, planning, and perfecting recipes in my tiny apartment kitchen, I was finally opening my own bakery. Flour and Heart would officially open its doors the next morning in our small town's shopping district. The April evening was perfect, warm with a gentle breeze, carrying the scent of spring flowers. Inside my shop, everything gleamed. The glass display cases waited for tomorrow's pastries. The espresso machine I'd splurged on shone under the pendant lights. Even the floors seemed to glow after hours of scrubbing. I was arranging fresh flowers on the counter when the bell above the door jingled. Looking up, I saw a tall man with salt and pepper hair wearing an apron with Mueller's Bakery embroidered across the chest. "We're not open until tomorrow," I said with an apologetic smile. "I know," he replied, not returning the smile. "I'm Klaus Mueller. My family's bakery is just down the street." Of course I knew Mueller's. The bakery had been a town institution for over 40 years. I'd researched my competition thoroughly before choosing this location. Their products were decent but dated, nothing like my innovative recipes combining traditional techniques with modern flavors. "Nice to meet you," I said, extending my hand. "I'm Emma Weber." He ignored my hand, instead walking around my shop, inspecting everything with narrowed eyes. "Pretty place," he finally said, but his tone suggested otherwise. "But this town already has a bakery, has had one for generations." I kept my smile in place. "I think there's room for both of us. Different styles, different customers." Klaus snorted. "We'll see. This street has seen many businesses come and go. The rent isn't forgiving." Before leaving, he turned at the door. "Good luck tomorrow. You'll need it." The bell jingled again, more harshly this time, and I was left alone with a knot in my stomach. I knew opening a business would be challenging, but I hadn't expected such open hostility from day zero. Still, my opening day was everything I'd dreamed of. The line stretched down the block. My cinnamon cardamom buns sold out by 9 a.m. By closing time, nearly every pastry was gone, and my cheeks hurt from smiling. The second day brought almost as many customers. The third day, too. I began to relax. Maybe Klaus's warning had been nothing but the grumbling of an old businessman set in his ways. Then came the first review. 1 star. "Found a hair in my croissant." The place didn't look very clean either. "Stick with Mueller's for quality you can trust." I was stunned. I wore a hairnet while baking, and my shop was immaculate. I responded professionally, offering a refund and inviting the customer back, though they never replied. 2 days later, another 1-star review. "Stomach pains after eating here. Questioned their food handling practices and got attitude from the owner." This was an outright lie. No one had ever questioned my food handling, and I certainly hadn't given anyone attitude. Over the next 2 weeks, the negative reviews multiplied. Each one mentioned hygiene issues, rudeness, or compared me unfavourably to Mueller's. My perfect 5-star average plummeted to 3 stars, then 2.5. And customers noticed. The morning lines grew shorter. People who came in looked around nervously, as if expecting to see cockroaches scurrying across my pristine floors. One afternoon, a health inspector arrived. "We've received multiple complaints," he explained, clipboard in hand. I welcomed the inspection. My kitchen was spotless, my refrigerator temperatures perfect, my documentation complete. After 2 hours of thorough examination, he found nothing amiss. "Everything is in order," he said, looking slightly confused. "One of the cleanest operations I've seen, actually." I asked for documentation of his findings, which he provided, but the damage was already done. My daily sales had dropped by half. Then came the whispers. A regular customer who still believed in me mentioned hearing rumours at the local coffee shop. Apparently, people were saying I'd failed previous health inspections in another city, that I'd changed my name to escape my reputation. None of it was true. I'd never owned a business before, never failed an inspection, never changed my name. But in a small town, rumours spread faster than truth. I was wiping down tables one slow afternoon when I spotted Klaus across the street. He was watching my nearly empty shop with a satisfied smile before disappearing into the florist's next door. 20 minutes later, the florist came in and bought a single cookie, looking around nervously the entire time. Something clicked. I opened my laptop and looked more closely at those one-star reviews. The usernames meant nothing to me, but when I clicked on their profiles, a pattern emerged. Most had only ever reviewed 2 businesses, mine, negatively, and Muller's, glowingly. I contacted the review platform's support team, explaining my suspicions. They couldn't share user data, but they confirmed they would investigate potential review manipulation. Meanwhile, I needed more evidence. I called my friend Marco, who worked in IT security. I need to know if multiple reviews are coming from the same source, I explained. That's in an ethical grey area, he hesitated. These fake reviews are killing my business, Marco. I've worked too hard to lose everything to lies. He agreed to help, setting up a special link that would log IP addresses when clicked. I created a customer satisfaction survey with a discount code as incentive, then emailed it to everyone who had left me reviews. Within days, Marco had what I needed. 7 of the negative reviewers had accessed the survey from the same IP address, registered to Mueller's bakery. I also spoke with my suppliers. 3 of them served both my bakery and Mueller's. When I mentioned the strange reviews, one supplier, Johann, grew quiet. Klaus has been asking questions about you, he finally admitted.
Wanted to know if you paid your bills, if your orders were consistent. He implied you might not be around long. What did you tell him? The truth. That you're one of my most reliable customers, and your increasing orders suggest business is good.
Johann hesitated before continuing. He didn't like hearing that. Said some things about making sure you understood your place in the local hierarchy. I thanked Johann for his honesty and asked if he'd be willing to put this in writing. He agreed, though reluctantly. Meanwhile, the town's annual spring festival was approaching, the biggest local event of the year. Every business participated with booths, special offerings, and competitions. As a new business, I'd been allocated a small spot at the far end of the festival grounds, while Mueller's had prime placement near the entrance. I was determined to make the most of it. I developed special pastries for the event, miniature versions of my most popular items that could be easily eaten while walking. I designed beautiful packaging with my logo and created eye-catching signage. The week before the festival, Klaus himself walked into my shop during the afternoon lull. The bell's jingle made me look up from the inventory sheets I was reviewing at the counter. He looked around dramatically at the empty tables. Not doing so well, are you? I kept my face neutral. What can I get for you, Mr. Mueller? Please, call me Klaus. His smile didn't reach his eyes. I'm not here to buy anything. I'm here to make you an offer. I raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. This location, your equipment, I'll take it off your hands for 15,000 euros. I almost laughed. I'd invested over 60,000 in equipment alone. That's very generous, I said carefully, but I'm not interested in selling. He leaned across the counter. Look around you. Your business is failing. Those reviews aren't going away. The rumors aren't going away. This town has loyalty to businesses that have proven themselves over generations, not flashy newcomers. Is that why you're writing fake reviews and spreading lies about me? His expression didn't change. Prove it. I'm not selling. 20,000, he counted. My final offer. Take it now, or watch your little shop wither away to nothing. By summer, you'll be gone anyway, but with far less money in your pocket. I looked directly into his eyes. Thank you for stopping by, Mr. Mueller. I have preparations to make for the spring festival. His face hardened. The festival won't save you. No one will even visit your booth. I've made sure of that. After he left, I called Marco. I need everything ready by Saturday. The morning of the spring festival dawned bright and clear. I'd been up since 3 a.m. baking, and by 8 a.m. my booth was set up with towers of beautiful pastries. My location might have been less than ideal, but I'd made it visually stunning with fresh flowers, fairy lights, and elegant signage. From my position, I could see Mueller's booth near the entrance. Klaus was there with his 2 sons, handing out free samples to everyone who passed by. Occasionally, he would look in my direction and smirk at my initially quiet booth. By mid-morning, a few curious festival goers had made their way to my end of the grounds. Those who tried my pastries seemed delighted, but many people walked past without stopping, some whispering to each other as they glanced my way. At exactly noon, Marco arrived with a portable printer and laptop. "Everything's ready," he confirmed. I nodded and picked up my phone, sending a pre-written text to Johan and my other suppliers. Then I left Marco watching my booth and walked purposefully toward the festival's central stage, where the mayor was just finishing his welcome speech. I approached the event coordinator, showing her the email that confirmed I had 5 minutes of stage time as a new business owner. She nodded and announced me next. Standing on that stage, microphone in hand, I could see Klaus's confused expression from across the crowd. He hadn't expected this. "Good afternoon, everyone," I began. "I'm Emma Weber, owner of Flower and Heart Bakery. As many of you know, I opened 6 months ago. What you might not know is the story behind those negative reviews you've seen online." The crowd grew quiet. I believe in transparency, so today I'm sharing the results of an investigation into review manipulation targeting my business. I gestured to Marco, who began handing out single-page printouts to people in the crowd. "What you're receiving shows IP address, evidence that 7 one-star reviews of my bakery came from the same computer at Mueller's bakery." Gasps rippled through the audience. Klaus's face had gone pale. "Additionally, I have statements from 3 suppliers confirming that Mr. Mueller attempted to damage my reputation with them. I also have documentation from the health department showing my bakery passed inspection with top marks, despite rumours suggesting otherwise." I paused, letting this sink in. I didn't come to this town to start a bakery war. I came to share my passion for baking. All I ask is for a fair chance to serve this community without sabotage or lies. I looked directly at Klaus. "And Mr. Mueller, regarding your offer to buy my failing business for a fraction of its worth, I think I'll pass." With that, I thanked the crowd and stepped off the stage. The silence lasted only seconds before conversation exploded. People were examining the evidence sheets, talking animatedly, and looking between me and Klaus. Klaus pushed through the crowd toward me, his face contorted with rage. "You little—" he began, but stopped when he realized how many people were watching and recording with their phones. "You've made a big mistake," he hissed instead. "This town has known my family for generations. They won't believe your fabricated evidence." I simply smiled. "It's not fabricated, as you well know, and look around. They already believe it." Indeed, people were now streaming toward my booth at the far end of the festival grounds. Klaus watched in disbelief as his own booth emptied out. One of his sons approached him, speaking urgently and pointing at his phone. Apparently, the story was already spreading on local social media. Klaus's shoulders slumped as he realized the extent of the damage. By the end of the festival, I had sold out completely. More importantly, I had dozens of new customers asking when certain items would be available in my shop, promising to visit the following week. The aftermath was swift. The review platform removed the fraudulent reviews after completing their investigation. Local news picked up the story, interviewing me about business ethics and resilience. My shop was busier than ever. Moyler's Bakery suffered an immediate drop in business. 2 weeks after the festival, I heard they'd laid off 3 employees. Their social media accounts went silent after a poorly received apology claiming a misunderstanding. A month later, I was working late on new recipes when the bell jingled. Looking up, I was surprised to see Klaus's younger son, Thomas. "We're closed," I said cautiously. "I know." He shifted uncomfortably. "I came to apologize. I wasn't part of what my father did, but I should have spoken up when I suspected." I studied him. Unlike Klaus, his expression seemed genuine. "My father built his business in a different era," Thomas continued. "He couldn't understand that there's room for both traditional and innovative approaches. He saw you as an existential threat rather than inspiration." "Inspiration?" Thomas nodded. "Your techniques, your presentation, your social media presence, they're exactly what our bakery needs to evolve. I've been telling him that for years, but he wouldn't listen. He hesitated before continuing. He's stepping back from the business. My brother and I are taking over, and we want to do things differently.
No shortcuts, no dirty tactics, just good baking and honest competition. I considered this. I appreciate you coming
Here, Thomas. That couldn't have been easy. Would you... He hesitated again. Would you consider some form of collaboration for next year's festival? Something that shows the town we can coexist? Different specialties? Shared values? The old me might have rejected this outright. But the past 6 months had taught me something important. Success built on tearing others down is no success at all. Let's talk about it, I said. Not now, but soon. You focus on rebuilding trust in Mueller's. I'll focus on growing Flower and Heart. And maybe, when the time is right, we'll find a way to lift each other up, rather than tear each other down. Thomas smiled with relief, thanked me, and left. 1 year later, both our bakeries were thriving. Mueller's had returned to its roots with exceptional, traditional German breads and pastries, while Flower and Heart became known for innovative flavours and special occasion cakes. At the Spring Festival, our booths were side by side, not as competitors trying to outdo each other, but as different expressions of the same passion for baking. Between us, we created a bakery passport that encouraged festival goers to try items from both shops for a special prize. The folder of evidence I had compiled against Klaus stayed locked in my office drawer. I kept it not as ammunition, but as a reminder that my success came not from the moment I exposed his schemes, but from every day before and after when I focused on quality, integrity, and genuine connection with my customers. The truth is, I never needed to destroy Mueller's to succeed. I just needed to remove the artificial barriers Klaus had placed in my way and let my work speak for itself. Sometimes, when Klaus comes into my shop now, a rare but civil occurrence since his semi-retirement, I catch him looking at my display cases with a mixture of respect and regret. He orders the same thing each time, a cinnamon cardamom bun and black coffee. He never mentions our past conflict, and neither do I. Instead, I serve him with the same care I show every customer, remembering that the best revenge wasn't the public exposure of his schemes, but the quiet dignity of succeeding on my own terms. My bakery isn't successful because his failed. It's successful because it deserves to be, and that knowledge is sweeter than any revenge could ever be.